The field that stopped looking at people. The field had no beginning, not because it was endless, but because none of its edges felt like borders. The horizon was flat and clean, no hills, no trees, no landmarks. Grass stretched in every direction in the same uniform mass, not wild but unnervingly precise, as if someone had spent an unreasonable amount of time leveling it to the same height. The wind moved in waves, but not in any consistent direction. The motion spread outward from a central point, a place where nothing stood, or where something should have, but didn't. Dennis stopped at the side of the road. The car died without warning, no sputter, no sound. It simply stopped, as if the engine had decided it was no longer required. The fuel gauge was fine, the dashboard lights worked, but when Dennis turned the key, there was only empty motion, action without response. His phone showed full signal. 4 bars, perfect reception, but no message would send. It didn't freeze. It traveled and never arrived. Dennis stood for several minutes, staring at the field. He wasn't afraid. Not yet. There was a strange sensation instead, like the pause between thoughts, as if the world had taken a breath and forgotten to exhale. He stepped into the grass. The sound of the step existed, but not outside. He didn't hear it in the air. He felt it inside, somewhere in his chest, as if the field accepted the movement but refused to acknowledge it audibly. The grass parted beneath his foot and immediately closed again. No footprint. A second step, the same. A third, nothing. The field refused to remember that anyone had walked there. Dennis turned to look back at the road. It was gone, not fading, not hidden by fog. It simply no longer existed as a direction. The field did not change. The sensation of being himself inside it did. Time began to compress. Steps blended together. Thoughts lost sequence. Dennis caught himself forming sentences without a subject, without I, just thoughts. Ownerless. The air felt strangely even. Not dead, indifferent. It did not confirm that he was breathing. After an unknown amount of time, figures appeared on the horizon. At first, vertical shadows. Then, people. They stood at equal distances from one another, forming something like a broken circle. Their poses were natural but suspended, as if they had paused mid-motion and decided never to continue. They were not looking at Dennis. Their gazes were directed into the field itself, not forward, not down, simply into it. As Dennis approached, he recognized their faces. They were familiar, not close, not important. A former neighbor he never spoke to. A woman from a gas station who always rang up purchases in silence. A young man from a bus he had seen once. People who left no trace. "Are you stuck here too?" Dennis asked. His voice sounded dull, as if the field did not allow it to travel far. No one answered. Then one of them slowly turned his head. His eyes did not focus on Dennis. They looked through him. "No one checks us anymore," the man said. "Who?" Dennis asked, though he already felt the answer. "No one." The field changed its rhythm. The wind stopped. The grass froze. Even the sense of time vanished. Reality stopped refreshing itself. And Dennis understood the second meaning. This place was not a trap, and not an anomaly. It was a remainder, a place for those the world had gradually stopped noticing. First, glances, then responses, then memory. The field did not take people. It received what had already been erased. Dennis looked at his hands. They were slightly transparent, not disappearing, unconfirmed. The figures in the field took a step, not toward him, with him. Because movement here was not forward or backward. Movement here was staying. And the field that stopped looking at people accepted one more, who no longer required witnesses.